Okay, so we're going to prove the converse of the isosceles triangle theorem, which states that if two angles of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite those angles are congruent. So if angle B is congruent to angle C, right, then AB is congruent to AC. So those two are congruent if we have these two angles congruent. So let's go ahead and start the proof. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drop altitude AD from vertex A. So let's go ahead and do that right here. From right here, we'll drop an altitude 90 degrees. Okay. So of course this is an altitude. So this creates two right triangles, right? It creates triangle A. Oh, I forgot to put that. ABD and triangle ACD. Okay, so we know since this is an altitude, right? This implies that the measure of angle ADB is equal to 90, which is equal to the measure of angle ADC. So this implies that angle ADB is congruent to angle ADC. So in a previous video, we've proven that two triangles are congruent if we have corresponding angles congruent and the side congruent, right? So angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. So notice we have that in both of these triangles. So we know that triangle ABD is actually congruent to triangle ACD by the angle, angle, side congruency theorem. So let's go ahead and write that up. So we have angle B is congruent to angle C. We have, let me scooch it down a little bit. We have angle, let's see, A up here is ADB is congruent to angle ADC. Right, we even have that here. ADB is congruent to ADC. And notice we have AD congruent to AD because that side is shared among these two triangles, and of course a side is congruent to itself. So we have AD is congruent to AD. So these three things imply by angle, angle, side congruency theorem that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle ACD. And of course, if this triangle is congruent to this triangle, that means corresponding sides are congruent, which means, right, this means that AB is congruent to AC. And that is the proof. That was what we set out to do. So remember, whenever you have two angles congruent to each other within a triangle, then you know the sides opposite those angles are also congruent.